Hi, I'm Nick Slaversky. I'm originally from London, and these days I work in Japan as a narrator, voice actor, and television professional. Today, I want to talk to you about something we all experience but rarely think about: the sound environment around us, and why it matters more than you might imagine. Right now, watching this, you're surrounded by sound. Voices, traffic, train announcements, sirens, pets, television, music. It's everywhere, isn't it? Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're running for office in the next election. You're campaigning, giving street speeches, driving around town in one of those election cars. Election cars. Fascinating cultural phenomenon, really. Candidates cruising the streets in vehicles. We rarely see anything like that in London. Now, imagine a different scene. You're a gaming content creator, streaming live with voice chat. The game gets intense, you beat your opponent and you shout and celebrate. Then suddenly, through your headphones, you hear an election car passing by, the candidate shouting their name over and over. Your concentration breaks, you feel a flash of irritation. But now let's shift to the room next door. There you are, classical music lover that you are, listening to Tchaikovsky on your carefully curated audio system. It's a beautiful, refined moment. Then, from next door comes a woohoo! At the same time, outside, that election car candidate is still shouting their name, drowning out the violin melody. You feel that familiar flash of irritation. Here's what I'm getting at. Sound is simultaneously entertainment, relaxation, noise, and information. For you as the gaming streamer, the game's sound effects and background music are pure enjoyment, but that election car is noise. For you as the classical music listener, the music is healing relaxation and joy, while the gamer's victory cries and the election car are both unwanted noise. But for you as the political candidate, sound is information. It's how you reach your voters. We encounter various sounds daily, but their value changes completely depending on our situation. That's exactly why sound issues become problems so easily. Everyone experiences sound differently. This is why I believe we should pay much more attention to our sound environment, both for ourselves and for the sake of those around us. As someone who works with voice professionally, it'd be quite a blow if my voice were perceived as noise. I want my voice to be valuable information, or even relaxing, for someone. Even right now, maybe. What do you think? But when you think about sound problems, you're probably wondering, yes, but practically speaking, what can we actually do about it? I can see it in your faces. Let's revisit our examples. First, you as the gaming streamer. Headphones might block out external sounds for you, but haven't you forgotten something? Your viewers can still hear that election car through your microphone. You'd benefit from creating an environment where your microphone doesn't pick up external sounds. Better yet, if you had an immersive space where surrounding distractions didn't matter, your concentration would improve and your skills might actually get better. Next, you listening to Tchaikovsky next door. How wonderful would it be if you didn't have to put up with the gamer's victory cries or the election car, and you could relax, immersed in the music in a proper acoustic space? Of course, renovations or spending enormous amounts of money isn't realistic for most of us. That's where I want to introduce you to VERY-Q. VERY-Q is, simply put, a partition-sized panel with soundproofing and sound absorption capabilities. Let's break it down further. Soundproofing technically means preventing sound transmission through both blocking and absorbing sound. Sound blocking, called sound insulation, uses panels to reflect sound waves back, reducing penetration. Think of it as a security guard. Sound absorption means the panel doesn't reflect sound waves, but actually absorbs them. Neither can completely reflect or absorb all sound. Some sound will always get through any panel. This is true for any soundproofing product. You cannot completely stop sound. When you think about it, Sounds quite complex, isn't it? Let's delve deeper into sound insulation and sound absorption. Sound insulation reflects sound waves. In an insulated space, external sounds bounce back outside and have difficulty penetrating inside. But what about sounds generated inside? These bounce back too, creating reverberation. In large spaces, sound spreads out, creating a pleasant ambience. But in small spaces, overlapping reverberations can create unpleasant artifacts. Sound absorption suppresses reverberation by absorbing sound from within the space. It also prevents acoustic problems like howling and flutter echo. When sound insulation and sound absorption work together, you create a proper sound environment, and that's exactly what VERY-Q does. Finally, we're back to talking about VERY-Q. VERY-Q is a panel system. You can combine panels to create booths or attach them to walls to soundproof entire rooms. That's what makes it a panel system. Remember those geometric nets from primary school? It's like that, assembling flat surfaces to create three-dimensional spaces. What's really clever about VERY-Q is that assembly requires only Velcro tape. Velcro tape, not zippers. You know, this stuff. VERY-Q panels are made of special fabric material, so they can be assembled simply by connecting them with Velcro tape. When it's time to disassemble, you just peel it off. This makes it accessible not just for voice professionals like me, but for anyone gaming at home, playing instruments, or wanting to create an audio room. Because all you're doing is attaching panels with Velcro tape. Stick it on with that ripping sound, peel it off with that ripping sound. That's why it's called VERY-Q. You think I'm joking? It's true. The developer told me so. So, what does the Q in VERY-Q stand for? Probably Q for sound absorption. I'll tell you why I think that later. VERY-Q offers not just individual panels but complete booth sets, so you can purchase soundproof booths in sizes suited to your specific needs. For gaming, you might want a larger booth to accommodate your desk and monitor. For vocal recording, a space-efficient model might work perfectly. Having pre-packaged booth solutions makes everything easier, especially when you can assemble it yourself. As a voice professional, I pay close attention to sound environments because recording conditions are absolutely crucial. To record voice properly, you need not just sound insulation, but also controlled reverb to make beautiful recordings in a noise-free environment. I've actually tested VERY-Q myself. It blocks surrounding sounds while preventing internal sound reverberation, enabling crystal clear recording. I learned that VERY-Q was originally developed as an announcement booth. It was developed with a focus on sound absorption. That's what differentiates it from typical products called soundproof rooms. Stick and peel, beri in Japanese. It handles both sound insulation and sound absorption, Q in Japanese. Stick and peel plus sound absorption, VERY-Q. See how that connects the name? I'd heard that VERY-Q is used by voice actors and other professionals, and now I understand why. Anyone can access this professional-grade product. You can even purchase it online. Oh, that reminds me, I nearly forgot something very important. VERY-Q has another key feature: custom orders and options. You can create booth size to fit your room space or install custom panels on walls. VERY-Q also offers comprehensive options. If you have to work long hours inside booths, ventilation becomes an issue. Air and heat buildup are often an unfortunate fact of booth life. Just looking at it, you'd worry about heat buildup. Everyone asks, doesn't it get stuffy? That's why VERY-Q's premium models, the VERY-Q Plus series, accommodate external spot coolers. They also offer floor panels to reduce sound transmission to lower floors and remote-controlled LED bar lights. Since VERY-Q attaches with Velcro tape, you can mount various accessories or even install small speakers 360 degrees around you to create a sound environment. This becomes a personal mini theatre. All of this without drilling any holes or needing any screws, just Velcro tape. Self-assembled soundproof booths like VERY-Q are sometimes called simple soundproof rooms compared to construction-grade soundproof rooms. But don't misunderstand, they're only simple in terms of installation. VERY-Q is professional grade. Originally, VERY-Q was developed with a focus on sound absorption, considering recording applications. It aims to create noise-free acoustics by blocking external sounds while suppressing reverberation. The weight and price are less than half of construction-type soundproof rooms. Simple doesn't mean it's not the real deal. It has an established reputation for incredible cost performance. So, how was my presentation? As a professional, of course, my goal was to effectively get across to you how excellent VERY-Q is. Pretty good voice and easy to follow delivery, don't you think? That's thanks to me. But there's another key point: this recording environment. The space where I'm recording this presentation is actually surrounded by VERY-Q. To secure a larger space, we built the framework using aluminium frames rather than Velcro tape. By using Velcro tape or even aluminium frames like this, you can accommodate various applications. This recording studio will be disassembled when we're finished. It could even become a mobile studio. I started by talking about election candidates making speeches. We now live in an era where people communicate policies and activities online. Surely, clear audio reaches people better than speeches through crackling microphone audio, right? I'll say it again. We're surrounded by various sounds that bring us joy and relaxation, and depending on the circumstances, important information. But sometimes these same sounds become noise and create problems. When you find yourself needing to address sound issues in various situations, remember this: VERY-Q might just be the solution to your problem.